You know, that will serve your child well, and it will very likely serve your relationship well in the future. And maybe this is a time of readjusting and a time of transition for the two of you.
I know that's true, but and I'm not supposed to say these words, but I don't, you know, and I'm supposed to accept this. I don't really like my son, if you let me use that, you know,
Say what you want.
like a sissy, or I don't even want to use the words. You're not supposed to. Maybe you're allowed to use sissy. I don't like that.
You can say it however you want.
Yes, I don't want to say those words, but I know
Yeah.
you know, but I don't like, that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, why can't he be a man?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Did I do something wrong?
I've heard that from other people too.
Did I? Was I too close to him? Maybe he has got to get away from his old man, and maybe he's afraid we're too affectionate. So he needs, it's easier for him to, you know, maybe he's afraid he's going to be gay, so he goes to be with women and girls.
Do you think maybe did I hear you suggest that maybe he's doing this to push you away?
I don't
keep some
know.
distance?
I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's why I came. I don't know.
Okay.
I know nothing about this.
So I've only just met you,
Yeah.
right? I don't know a lot about you or your son, as you choose
Thank
to
you.
call your
Yes,
child.
thank
Right?
you.
I want to, honor that too, and I don't know very much about the deep workings of your family overall as well. And those obviously would, if I knew more, then that would inform some of my clinical opinions. But what I can say is there are all sorts of reasons that kids act the way they do, and there are all sorts of reasons that sometimes, kids born biologically as boys will begin to express themselves in a more feminine way. And I'm using this language, which is a little different from how you used your language, just to offer you another way of thinking and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with the way you were talking about it, too. For some kids, I think, it may have a lot to do with family dynamics, as you were wondering.
Yes.
And for some kids, it has very little to do with family dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
There's this sort of big question, sort of like these days people talk about, is being gay a choice, or is that the way they were born? They, were born. And that's a controversy as well. I think it's shifted in our cultural discourse. It's changed the way people think about being gay or bisexual or lesbian or the like. And I think the same could be true around gender identity as well, whether your son feels like a girl or not, or whether your son feels like he's gay. I don't know how your son perceives himself.
I think I'd be better off if he was gay. I feel was getting used to that.
Better off that way rather than...
if he's gonna...
Rather than if he identifies as a girl?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's...
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. Is there anything you can...
I have a question.
Yes, thank you.
You said he would be better off.
I'd be better off.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
No, I'd be better off.
Okay.
I could, I'm getting hip, the new, and good open, and
Yeah.
people in Cambridge, okay, we can take that. But this is a harder one. Very hard for his mother also.
I was going to ask you.
Harder for me, I think. Much harder for me.
You and
the grandparents, it's even easy for I think I'm having the hardest time.
You are. That's actually not uncommon for fathers of sons who are kind of gender variant, so to speak. It's oftentimes harder for the fathers.
Oh, so it's called gender variant? That's what the new words are?
It's one of the words.
Like the gender can vary from boy to girl and man to woman?
So here's a little bit of sort of, information that might be helpful for you. One of the ways that people talk about gender and kind of like sex, this is one way, and you can describe it in all sorts of different ways. This is just one frame to put on it for people. Is that a person is typically born with biologically a body that is a man's body or a woman's body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not everyone, but almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's their biological sex, okay? And then a person has a gender identity, which is how they think and feel about what they are in terms of being male or female, maybe something in between, maybe something altogether different, but typically male or female. And typically those two line up, right? I'm in a man's body and I feel male.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then there's a third piece of this, gender expression, which is how I express gender, right? So the things you were describing about your child, your son, about how he moves or walks, and
who he hangs out with,
and
what he doesn't do.
Okay, right. Those sorts of things are typically sort of lumped and included in the category of gender expression. How someone expresses their gender in ways that are sort of noticeable by others outside of themselves, right? So what I'm hearing from you is that actually, here's another interesting thing. You're talking about how it would be easier if your son were gay, for you, right? So some people feel like if gender expression and biological sex don't line up, like you're describing with your child, right? In the sort of, some people, and sort of like a lot of people before, as well as some people today, would say, that must mean that my son is gay, right? Which is a possibility. And more recently, in sort of the way people think about gender and sexual identity, they say, you know, gender and sexual orientation can be independent from each other. They may not line up. So if your child has a gender expression that is more feminine, that might mean that he's gay, but it might mean that he's gender variant.
I got it. Gender, I mean he can vary and be a girl.
Or maybe not even so far.
So what do I do about I'm here now more than him. And I don't fucking like this at all. That's how I really feel. And I can't even say that to him. I do not like this in my son. I mean, I did plays when I was a kid, and we could dress up with dresses, when we were playing around. But that was a game. I don't like, so what am I going to do about, I have to live with this every day. So, let's leave him out of it for a moment. What am I going to do?
So are you asking, how can I change my child? Or
no, but first for me, I don't like this. I really, it's a therapist's office. It's not politically correct. I do not like this. I don't want this. I don't want this child who was once my son to be a girl. We've got a daughter. This is my only son. We don't need two daughters.
I guess I would go back. One, to validate that this is a hard space for you to be in, and two, to say, if you are committed to supporting your child and you don't want to change your child, and that's a big if.
Yeah, that's true too. They're all true, all these feelings. What you just said is also true.
If you don't want to change your child,
right,
and you want to allow your child, son,
want that. That's
to
more important to me than my feelings, but I have those feelings.
Okay. If self-determination is important,
yes,
to you,
that's the number one thing I want.
Then being here in a therapy space or elsewhere, there's a grief process.
Yes, it was helpful to at least say that to you.
Yes.
I don't say that to other people.
Yeah. You can do that here.
Yes, that is very, very helpful.
And you're brave to be able to say that to someone who you've just
yes, it's easier.
met.
It's easier in privacy.
Yeah.
Okay, cut. We only have
outer roll.
4 minutes left. Okay, outtake. So, anything you want to say about this?
You were an angry dad, and I get it. Yeah. What was that like for you?
I'm still recovering from it, but it was.
You're still in it.
Who knows when it's like I don't know where that character came from, but it's like therapy. It's like something came out. Acting is like that, and there's tears in my eyes. I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I could ask, where's something came out which is very freeing. Very, very freeing. Acting is healing like therapy.
I do think in my experience with clients, I've had fathers of gender variant sons, gender variant.
That's what we just did. Right?
Sons who come to see me, sometimes with their partner, usually a wife, but not always, and sometimes they come on their own. But the stereotype is that men, when they're under stress, externalize their distress. They get angry, and that's happened in my practice. Totally a valid place to put that distress, that grief. And there are other men who I've worked with who come and they're just sad, and they internalize it more.
I think I felt both.
Yeah, well, you mentioned like feeling very embarrassed.
Yes, and said even my anger was there was tears in it.
Yeah,
both.
Yeah,
and we should we still have 2 minutes, but we should let the audience know if they want more information about this. Just information. How would they get in touch with you?
You got to remind me what's kosher to say on TV.
Oh, you can say whatever. For people who want to just.
Okay. If you want more information, or if you wanted to get in touch with me or the like, you can always find me on the web, under Charles Strauss, and I guess look up like Massachusetts or Arlington or Cambridge therapy or something like that. I know I have a listing on some of the different databases.
So just Charles Strauss, Strauss.
Yeah.
In Arlington, will find you?
Arlington or Cambridge. I have 2 offices.
Yes.
And then actually I'd like to sort of tell people a bit about the books that I think could be helpful.
Yes,
as well.
And we have 1 minute and 14 seconds.
I don't remember the names. Let me grab them.
Yes. Okay. Whew. Thank you for joining us. This was acting is like therapeutic, City. This is a new way to do it.
So am I allowed to show people books on camera?
Yes, sure.
So a couple that are really great. These are things that I've read. And this is if you want more information, or if you happen to be a parent of a child who might be transgender or gender variant or the like. Here, let's see. Does that work? Can people read it maybe?
And I try to get the overhead.
That's okay.
Yes.
So it's a book called The Transgender Child, and it's by I want to get the name right, Stephanie Brill and Rachel Pepper, a handbook for families and professionals. It's very accessible. It's written in a way that's not hard to understand. So that's one I'd start with. There are 2 others there's one, Finding the Real Me, True Tales of Sex and Gender Diversity by Tracy O'Keefe and Katrina Fox. Finding the Real Me.
15 seconds to go. Yes. Quick. Yes.
She's Not There. A Life in 2 Genders by Jennifer Finney Boylan. Great book.
And we still have 5 seconds. Yes.
And no, I'll leave it. That's fine.
No, good.
And there's a camp for gender variant kids that just started.
Whoa! Yes, thank you.
Did we get it?
Yes, we got it. Yes. Okay, stop.